Calaroga Shark Media.
Santa's getting close. Hope you haven't been naughty. If you've been naughty, you're listening to the wrong show. Because hi, I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. Do you know what a Buc-ee's is? You're either like, yeah, of course I know what a Buc-ee's is, or you're from Queens, New York City, and you're like, I've never heard of that. I hadn't heard of it until it came up on the other podcast I host, Daily Comedy News. Anyway, it's a big store down south that sells everything. And Deanna and Paul thought the Buc-ee's in a town in Texas would be the perfect model for their annual gingerbread creation. They even include people pumping their gas. They were celebrating National Gingerbread House Day, and they wanted to celebrate the Buc-ee's that's about an hour from their house, a place they say they always stop at that kind of gets our vacation started. Gingerbread Buc-ee's comes with cars, electric charging stations, gas pumps, printed photographs of Deanna's coworkers in various poses around the store. She said, we purchased all the vehicles, got all the candy, and tried to make it happen. The people that made up the village are depicted completing other tasks, like changing a tire, charging their Tesla, giving their dog a chance to stretch their legs. I think that's code. If you actually look through the windows, you can see people inside walking around. They're at the gas pumps, people are getting gas and fixing their luggage. Let me catch the Northerners up. USA Today wrote, what's so great about Buc-ee's? They wrote, Buc-ee's may be as big as a football field, all with bathrooms maybe cleaner than yours at the house, and they're popping up all across America. There's more to Buc-ee's than buying gasoline, sandwiches, brisket, beaver nuggets, fudge, beef jerky, or t-shirts. Beaver nuggets, in case you're curious, are puffed corn with special coating. The mascot Buc-ee the beaver, named after the owner's beloved dog Buck. USA Today has some tips. Is Buc-ee's a truck stop? No. How do you pronounce Buc-ee's? The correct pronunciation is Buc-ee's. Saying Buc-you-sees will mark you as an outsider. FedEx is hooking up some military families with trees for troops. They're delivering nearly 16,000 Christmas trees this December to families at over 90 military bases across the U.S. They've partnered with the Christmas Spirit Foundation. Tree number 300,000 was delivered during a special celebration at Fort Liberty in North Carolina. Wendy Richardson is the chair of the Christmas Spirit Foundation and said, the program started on a crazy idea and started small. We delivered 4,300 trees to only 5 bases that first year. It's hard to believe we're now going to exceed 300,000 total trees since we began working with FedEx 19 years ago. Nice job by Dave Grohl. You know him from Foo Fighters. In between his band's tour dates in Australia, Grohl spent a day off in Melbourne volunteering for the Big Umbrella Foundation, a food rescue charity that helps feed unhoused and food-insecure individuals. The charity said Dave Grohl spent 18 hours preparing and lovingly smoking 44 pounds of pork ribs, pork butt, and beef brisket. USA Today says she brings him food, he brings her joy. No, it's not her boyfriend. It's a blonde raccoon. Crystal has at least 9 bird feeders that often attract blue jays, cardinals, goldfinches, and even woodpeckers. I had my dog out in the yard the other day, and I left out some food for the dog, and boy, the blue jays were loving the dog food. Anyway, Crystal got a surprise visitor on her security camera. It was a blonde raccoon that does not have the distinctive black mask that most raccoons have. Crystal did some research and learned all about blonde raccoons, which are quite rare. She believes the raccoon is a boy and has named him Blondie. So now she started feeding Blondie the raccoon, and she's even recorded Blondie interacting with the gray raccoons that also hang out in the yard. She says it's fun to watch. There's a pecking order with the gray ones and also with the blonde one. If the gray ones are there and the blonde one comes, the gray ones scatter. Interesting. She says she's now known around town. I went into Verizon after one of the news stories ran. They said, hey, that's the raccoon lady. A military dad is considered the prankster of his family. Well, he tried to surprise his wife and 3 kids by returning home. He had been in Kuwait for 9 months. He couldn't wait to see the expression on the faces of his family. He showed up at the house, and he said everything was going wrong until the very last moment. His ride to the airport was delayed. The plane was then downsized. He had to catch a later flight. A series of connections, tried to rent a car. They wouldn't accept his debit card. His friend picked him up. He got home. His family wasn't there. They were visiting relatives 3 hours away. Oof. Then he got another surprise when he walked through his front door. His wife had installed security cameras. And he was like, all right, how am I going to do this? Now I can't turn on any lights and I can't watch TV because anywhere I'll go, the security camera would be looking. He didn't want to give up on the surprise. He found a spot in the house where he wouldn't be seen. He sat in the dark for 5 hours. His wife came home and said, I was really, really in shock. I guess that would be the best way to explain it. I was completely in shock. I screamed, I ran, I cried. Yeah, she's got security cameras, dude. And you exposed the blind spot. I suggest you have your security system tweaked, but welcome home and thank you for your service. Those are your 5 good news stories for today. Aster will do a Christmas version tomorrow, and I'll be back on Wednesday. You have a great day.